Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of 7 Strategies. I am Miri Rossitto, CEO of Cowe Communications. Today we are talking about first impressions. They are important, they matter. My notes are here, you're here. Let's get this kicked off. We're gonna start with some math, which typically is not my favorite way to start, but there are some important statistics that I think you'll enjoy. 55% of first impressions are visual. It's not necessarily what you're wearing, but it's how you're wearing it. In that same vein, 38% of first impressions is the way you sound, which I will say it's about being confident. What's your tone? Is your tone nervous? Is it rushed? Is it frustrated? Is it confident? So it's really important that if there is one takeaway that you get from today's episode, it's going to be exude confidence. Only 7% of a first impression is made up of the words you actually use, which for me is incredible news because I am incredibly awkward at first impressions and I say some really weird things because I get nervous. And so the takeaway here is that it's not the words that you're using. Don't worry about your elevator pitch. Don't worry about your 10-second speech. Worry about nothing. Be confident. This is your moment. Look, you're there to solve problems. You're a master at what you do. When you're meeting somebody for the first time, that's all you need to know. You are amazing at what you do. You're there to help. If they don't need your help, that's absolutely fine. Be confident. I'm going to give you guys some nuggets today that what I would love for you to do is take them and sit down in a quiet place when this is finished and just kind of think through. I'm going to highlight these areas, but what I'd love for you to do is to take them and make them your own. And where do these fit into your business and what you're doing? And what are the processes and procedures behind them? Are you already doing this flawlessly? If so, great. If there are places that you can improve, great. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. You guys sent some really great questions after the last episode, and I appreciate them so much. I promise that I will get to them, but please don't hesitate to send me emails or questions because, again, I'm just kind of highlighting these, and this is an opportunity for you to reach out and ask me more questions. contact@cowe.com. Shoot them over to me. We're going to start off, though, with the phone. People are going to call you. Now, whether or not it's a receptionist answering the phone or you're answering the phone, there's really some important key things to think through when somebody is answering your phone. If you have a call center or a receptionist answering your phone, I hope that you're listening to those calls. It's really important that you kind of listen to their talk track. What is their tone? How helpful are they? How enthusiastic are they? There's a difference between Cowe Communications, this is Miri, what can I do for you? Or, hi, thank you for calling Cowe Communications. This is Miri. How can I help you today? Totally different. So that first impression, just that one interaction says so much about your company. And if you're paying attention to that, it really will make a difference. If you yourself are answering the phone, I want you to think about that. A lot of people say to me, well, I can't afford to have a receptionist or a call center. And I will argue that you can't afford not to. Because if you're answering your own phones, that doesn't say a lot about how busy you are and, kind of where is your effort going. I will also say that a lot of times business owners answer their own phones and it's chaotic. There's a lot going on. They're not vested in that moment. They're juggling a ton of different things. And so this is an opportunity for you to really think through, when I answer the phone, am I in it? Am I focused on this conversation? You really want that person to feel like you're giving it their all, you're there to solve their problems. So focus heavily on that phone call. And if you can't be there in that moment, then let it go to voicemail, which normally I would never recommend, but it's better that you risk not connecting with them until later and letting them leave a voicemail than picking up the phone and making a bad first impression, because you really want to exude confidence and you want to be professional. Your website. Look, sometimes people are uncomfortable with reaching out in person. They don't want to meet you. They don't necessarily want to call. They kind of want to be a little bit of a lurker on your website. That's absolutely fine. what I want you to do when this is finished is I want you to think about navigating to your website and pretending like you have no context with your website whatsoever. You don't know anyone there. What is that experience like? What does your website say to people? Is your domain something like that communications company in Woodland Hills.net? That's not great. It's not terrible, right? Like, you own whatever you have. But I would think through streamlining that experience for people. Make sure that your domain is short and sweet and to the point, and make sure that your website is the same way. What is the call to action? What is above the fold? What is the navigation seamless? What is that experience like? If that's their first impression, you want to make sure that you're getting them the information that they need and that you're funneling them to the right places, and that you can convey that you are the person who can help them the best. That's what you want to get across. Email. All right. So again, these are rabbit holes that have a million different layers, and we can go down them and talk about a million things. And emails have a bunch of different context, right? Like, depending on whether or not it's an email receipt or whether or not it's a follow-up or it's a sales email, there's protocols for everything. But I want you to think about the emails that your company or that you're sending out. What are those emails? How do they sound? What is your signature line? Some people have signature lines that are like 3 pages long, and that's not necessary. You don't have to list all of your awards or big chunks of content or pictures that are big and clunky. You don't have to do that. The same vein, I want you to think about your subject lines. I want you to think through the emails that you're sending, and are your subject lines relevant and honest and intriguing? And there's a whole laundry list of things that you can look at. So look at your email protocols, and are you being honest? You know, don't send an email like, if you open this email, you could make $1 million. I mean, can you? It sounds salesy, it sounds skeezy, it doesn't sound trustworthy. You want to come across trustworthy. You want to come across confident. Networking meetings. Networking meetings are incredible places to cut your teeth. It's a great place to learn how to meet people, how to meet new people, how to talk about your company, right? Like, networking meetings can be so much fun, but you have to put some thought into it. So I want to give you a couple key things just to think through when you're making first impressions at a networking meeting. Dress to impress. I say this and I mean it. I don't care if your pajamas are impressive. Rock your pajamas. I would say that for some people, wear what you're most comfortable in, but dressing to impress matters. The devil's in the details. And if you are dressing in a way that is confident, then that is what is going to come across. And so dress confident. Don't get there early. Don't stay there late. Make eye contact. Don't be the person that scans the room. That drives me crazy. And be aware of your body language. You're there to talk to them about them, not yourself. This is not about what's in it for you. You're there for what's in it for them. Lastly, I want to talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a critical place to make a first impression. And like we talked about earlier, that there's a lot of people that are more comfortable lurking. LinkedIn is where a lot of people are doing their lurking. It's not just your website, because people want to know about who you are personally. And LinkedIn is going to be that place, not even necessarily Facebook, because from a professional context, it's going to be LinkedIn. So I want you to make sure that your picture's updated from like the last year or two, not 10 years. I want you to think about the keywords that you're using. And I want you to think about your bio. I want you to think about the content that you can upload. You can put media, you can put videos, you can put your white papers and the books that you've written. There's so much you can do. Your recommendations. Everybody should have a recommendation from this year. 2020 has been one hell of a year, but let's not remember it forever, but let's at least get a recommendation from 2020, okay? I challenge you all to do that. This is an opportunity for you to think through your first impressions. Thank you for being here with me today. Our episode 3, it's going to be about people skills. I'm really excited to tackle that too. If you have any questions, contact@cowe.com. Thank you. And please email me if you need anything, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Bye, you guys.